Okay, this is Megan Roach, student number 7241453. So for introduction, what I'll start with is I'll introduce the client and her goals. Then I'll present the results from the pre-screening tools. Then I'll talk about what her goals were and further discuss those goals with scientific evidence. And I'll then talk about the initial action plan and finish up with the summary. So the client, she is a female, 23 years old, 168 centimeters tall, 55.05 kilograms, 19.5 kilograms meters squared for her BMI. Now that BMI is in the normal range. It's just in the low normal range, which is good. Waist girth is 67 centimeters, and blood pressure at the time was 129/88. So the client's goals, I knew at the time that I needed the 3 goals, so health, behaviour and exercise performance. Her health goal was to improve her sleep. Behaviour goal was to train more regularly, and exercise performance goal was to improve running speed for 1 kilometre distances. And just note that this was a goal that the patient was most adamant that she wanted to improve. So the pre-screening tools, firstly, why did I do them? Well, for safety, also to assess whether the doctor should review the client prior to her commencing any exercise. Also to indicate any possible issues and restrictions. I also just backed it up with a study from Pickham and his colleagues in 2015 saying the pre-screening is good, but some more testing might be needed, such as ECG testing. So I put this in here just to pretty much say that the testing's good, but to always remember that there's possibility for complications no matter what. So what testing did I do? Did the PAR-Q test, the QT Health Clinic's new client screen, the ESSA pre-exercise screening, and the Fantastic Lifestyle checklist. So the pre-screening results, the PAR-Q test came back with no concerns. QT Health Clinic's new client screen came back with one medical problem, and that was just a stone in her gland in her neck. So that has been investigated and cleared by her doctor. ESSA pre-exercise screening came back with no concerns, and the Fantastic Lifestyle checklist score was in the very good category. So her health goal was to improve her sleep. I used the QT Health Clinic's new client screen mainly because it was easy for her to elaborate in that one. I also used the Bouchard 3-day physical activity record. Now this is usually used to measure energy expenditure. However, I referred to it to see when the client was going to bed and when she was getting out of bed, and then talking to her about how much she was actually sleeping. And the results showed that she had adequate time to sleep. However, she just wasn't sleeping in that time. So then I had to question if an increase of physical activity would possibly improve her sleep. And I'd also like to note that if her sleep doesn't improve post-intervention, that I'll refer her straight to her GP. So, does exercise equal better sleep? Well, Rethorst and his colleagues in 2013 studied patients with major depressive disorder. Now, I know that this client, she hasn't said that she has major depressive disorder, but I feel that the study is still relevant because they found that exercise augmentation resulted in improvements in self-reported sleep quality in patients. And then, however, found I firstly found a lot of studies to back up Rethorst and his colleagues, but also found this study that I want to include from Barron and his colleagues also in 2013, which was conflicting to the other reports because their results suggested that sleep influences next day exercise rather than exercise influencing sleep. So I then thought, should I prescribe increased sleep to help increase exercise to help her sleep, or what would be a better alternative, and how can I track this patient's sleep patterns? Okay, so the behaviour goal is to train more regularly. Exercise performance goal is to improve running speed. So I decided to pair these together, and it became regular training to improve running speed for 1 kilometre races. I used the Bouchard 3-day physical activity record to assess current training habits, and the SS Screening, Fantastic Lifestyle and QT Health Clinic Screen all show good scores of physical activity. Now, the client also states that she gets bored with the same old training. So the question, would a set training schedule be best, or varying types of training? Okay, so what did the study say? Dubun and colleagues in 2011 studied 415 university students and found that the results show that action planning strengthens the intention habit strength interaction in the exercise domain. And then Fleig and his colleagues in 2013 found that action planning, self-efficacy and satisfaction help to maintain self-directed exercise. So with both of these, I decided to incorporate the client in her exercise program in the aspect that she has a say in quite a lot of it, and also in her direct goals. Now, what type of training? I found numerous studies. I've put a couple here, one from Skovgaard and his colleagues in 2014 that did speed endurance training and heavy resistance training together, which found improvements in both short and long-term running performance together with improved running economy. And then it was further backed up with Ramirez Campillo and his colleagues also in 2014. So my plan is to increase exercise to improve sleep, which I'll monitor closely. Plan a varied exercise program with the client to decrease boredom and increase chances of making a habit, and ensure to incorporate heavy resistance training and endurance training in program. So in summary, I'm satisfied that the client is safe to commence exercise. My plan is backed up with scientific research, and I'll continue to consult the client to ensure habit is kept and changes are made if necessary. And they're my references.